The remote island of Berk, encircled by crystal-clear waters and wild, untamed landscapes, is home to a proud lineage of Vikings. Yet, the villagers constantly endure relentless assaults from fierce dragons that frequently swoop in to snatch their livestock. Amid this chaos, a young teenager named Hiccup longs to prove his worth. He hopes that by using one of his inventive creations to defeat a dragon, he will finally earn recognition as a true Viking. However, before he can reach his latest invention, his father, Chief Stoic the Vast, the respected leader of their tribe, catches him. Stoic sternly commands Hiccup to return home, but the determined teen does the exact opposite. He dashes toward the blacksmith's workshop, where he serves as an apprentice to Gobber, intent on retrieving his invention. Gobber, however, simply tells him to resume polishing weapons. Just to be out here, Hiccup protests internally. We might be dealing with Nazwak's SCRs or snorty-spotted monsters. Meanwhile, after reviewing the types of dragons that have been attacking the village, Stoic instructs the Vikings to safeguard their livestock while remaining vigilant for the Night Fury, a rare, formidable dragon that no one has ever survived encountering. Back with Hiccup, he notices a group of teenagers his age, chosen to participate in the upcoming dragon training. The group includes the boisterous twins Roughnut and Toughnut, the intelligent Fishlegs, the brash Snotlout, and Astrid, a skilled and fearless Viking warrior on whom Hiccup secretly harbors a crush. I want to prove myself, to impress Astrid, to make my father proud, Hiccup confides to Gobber. But Gobber is pragmatic, Astrid is a real Viking, and Hiccup has yet to even swing an axe correctly. Undeterred, Hiccup insists that his invention is reliable. When he demonstrates it, though, it malfunctions spectacularly, creating chaos in the workshop. Yet his resolve remains unbroken. He is determined to bring down at least one dragon. Suddenly, Hiccup hears a peculiar roar, which he believes belongs to the Night Fury. Gobber grabs his sword, warning him to stay put, but Hiccup sneaks away with his invention and launches a net into the sky. Remarkably, it works. He actually ensnares the Night Fury. At that moment, another dragon notices him and gives chase. Stoic witnesses the danger and rushes to rescue his son. Hiccup, brimming with pride, tells his father that he struck the Night Fury. Stoic, far from impressed, scolds him sharply, pointing out that every time Hiccup intervenes, disaster seems to follow. The dragons have already raided the livestock, and with winter approaching, the timing couldn't be worse. Stoic then instructs Gobber to escort Hiccup home. On the way back, the other teens seize the opportunity to mock him. Frustrated, Hiccup vents to Gobber, expressing his desire to make his father proud, but lamenting that Stoic never allows him the chance. Gobber offers the wisdom, "Stop trying to be something you are not." Meanwhile, Stoic convenes a council meeting as the villagers voice their fears about the dragon attacks and lost livestock. Stoic reassures them, asserting that the problem will be solved once the dragon's nest is located and destroyed. He inspires the Vikings, reminding them that they are descendants of the greatest dragon slayers the world has ever known. Are we really going to pack up and retreat while these beasts still threaten our lands? Is that who we are? Stoic asks, seeking confirmation from the village elder, Gothy. After a thoughtful pause, she nods, signaling it is time. Wasting no time, Stoic commands the Vikings to ready the ships and instructs Gobber to train the new recruits in his absence. Gobber gently suggests that Hiccup could use the opportunity to learn to fight dragons alongside the others. Stoic remains skeptical of Hiccup's commitment, but eventually relents after Gobber's persuasion. Later, Hiccup sneaks into the woods to locate the Night Fury he believes he struck the night before. Following a broken branch along the path, he discovers the dragon lying still. Assuming it is dead, Hiccup cautiously approaches with a knife. As the dragon closes its eyes, apparently resigned to its fate, Hiccup cannot bring himself to strike. Instead, he cuts the ropes binding the creature. The Night Fury lunges, roaring deafeningly, attempting to flee despite its broken tail. Hiccup returns home that night, where Stoic surprises him with news. He has enrolled Hiccup in the dragon training program, a decision Hiccup had not anticipated. Stoic tells him he will be away for several days, marking the beginning of Thrill of Flame, the initiation in which future Vikings and chiefs are forged. At the training arena, Hiccup joins the group of teens, facing ridicule once again. Gobber arrives to explain the challenges ahead. The final honor of killing a dragon before the village will go to the teen who scores highest across all trials. The first test involves defense and survival. Hiccup and the others must make noise to confuse the Grow, a type of dragon whose senses are disrupted by sound. The twins, Fishlegs and Snotlout, are eliminated, leaving only Hiccup and Astrid. While Astrid remains composed and formidable, Hiccup becomes distracted, admiring her, and finds himself cornered by the GRO. Gobber intervenes, locking the dragon back up, and reminds Hiccup that dragons are always lethal, even when unprovoked. Puzzled, Hiccup wonders why the Night Fury did not kill him when it had the opportunity. Determined to understand, he returns to the forest to find the dragon struggling in a pit. Observing its missing tail fin, he sketches it in his notebook, accidentally drawing its attention when he drops his pencil. That night, Gobber gathers the trainees to reflect on their errors. Hiccup arrives slightly late, but Gobber then presents the Book of Dragons, a detailed encyclopedia of all known species. Most teens show little interest, save for Astrid and Fishlegs, who have already read it cover to cover. Afterward, Hiccup approaches Astrid, suggesting that dragons may not be as dangerous as believed. Astrid, offended, reminds him of her humble beginnings and her ambition to exterminate all dragons to become chief herself. As Hiccup continues exploring the Book of Dragons, he notices an unsettling pattern. Nearly every page contains the same cautionary note: extremely dangerous, kill on sight. Then he reaches the section on the Night Fury and finds it completely blank. There is no information recorded about this rare dragon at all. Meanwhile, far away at sea, Stoic leads the Viking fleet deeper into a dense fog, inching toward what they believe is the dragon's lair. Without warning, a swarm of dragons ambushes them mid-voyage, plunging the mission into chaos. Back in the village, the second day of the trial of flame begins. Today's challenge involves facing a deadly Narrow, a dragon known for its speed and aggression. Gobber warns the trainees to search for blind spots in the dragon's defense. As the Narrow lunges at Hiccup, he finds himself in peril, but Astrid swoops in to rescue him. She then bravely confronts the Natter, forcing it back into its enclosure. Turning the group, she admonishes the teens to take the training seriously. Later, Hiccup visits the Night Fury again. This time, he offers the dragon a fish. Initially wary, the creature hesitates, but Hiccup discards his knife to demonstrate his peaceful intentions. Gradually, the Night Fury accepts the offering. Observing its retractable teeth, Hiccup names the dragon Toothless. Moments later, Toothless coughs up the uneaten portion of the fish onto Hiccup. Hesitant, but determined to gain the dragon's trust, Hiccup swallows it. Toothless watches with apparent amusement before curling up comfortably in a corner, clearly at ease with Hiccup nearby. As evening approaches, Toothless awakens from a nap to find Hiccup still present, drawing in the sand. Curious, the dragon picks up a nearby branch to mimic the actions. Slowly, Hiccup approaches and gently touches Toothless's nose, forming the first signs of trust between them. That night, Gobber recounts his own dragon-fighting experiences to the trainees, detailing how he lost both a hand and a leg. "I'll avenge your fallen limbs, big guy," he declares with humor. "I'll slice the hands and feet off every dragon." He instructs the teens to target a dragon's tail and wings, noting that a grounded dragon is effectively defeated. Inspired, Hiccup designs a mechanical tail fin for Toothless. The following morning, he presents a breakfast of various fish. Toothless recoils at the sight of an eel, prompting Hiccup to remove it. While the dragon is distracted, Hiccup attaches the newly engineered tail fin. Toothless tests it and, for the first time since the injury, soars gracefully into the sky. Hiccup watches in awe, elated by their successful flight. The third round of the Trial of Flame presents a challenge against the fearsome Zippleback, a two-headed dragon. Gobber explains the creature's trick. One head emits gas while the other ignites it. Additionally, the dragon cannot breathe fire if wet. Hiccup, thinking creatively, uses an eel to frighten the zippleback, forcing it back into its cage. Over the next few days, Hiccup continues refining gear to improve Toothless's flight stability. With one natural tail fin and a mechanical one, the dragon relies on Hiccup for balance in the air. Their bond strengthens with each practice session. During one flight, a crash into a meadow of dandelions prompts Toothless to sneeze, sparking an idea. During a future trial, Hiccup uses the dandelions to distract a GRO, winning the round and angering the other teens. Hiccup discovers that scratching a specific spot on Toothless's neck induces sleep. In subsequent rounds, he exploits this knowledge to manipulate dragons, gaining victories and capturing the attention of the group. The other trainees begin admiring him, though Astrid remains cautious and increasingly suspicious. Hiccup's cleverness continues to develop as he experiments with reflected sunlight and other strategies to tame smaller dragons, such as the terrible Terror. Astrid secretly follows him, attempting to uncover his methods, but loses track. Meanwhile, Stoic returns to the village with fewer ships and several injured Vikings. Gobber reassures him of Hiccup's extraordinary talent in dragon taming, noting that it has become the talk of the village. Back in the village, Hiccup compiles a detailed manual for guiding Toothless. However, during a flight, he notices the instructions are insufficient. Frustrated, he abandons the manual and relies on instinct, discovering the flight becomes smoother and more natural. That night, Stoic unexpectedly visits Gobber's workshop. Rather than scolding Hiccup, Stoic expresses pride in his son's accomplishments. He presents Hiccup with a Viking helmet forged from his mother's old armor, a deeply significant gesture. With a nod, Stoic departs, leaving Hiccup to reflect. The following day, the final round of the trial of flame commences. Astrid's parents cheer for their daughter, but to Astrid's dismay, Hiccup has already tamed the dragon meant for the battle, depriving her of the chance to demonstrate her skill. Elder Gothi announces the year's top dragon slayer, Hiccup. Despite the village's celebration, Hiccup is conflicted. He does not wish to kill a dragon and decides to flee with Toothless. Astrid, having secretly followed him, discovers the truth. She encounters Toothless, who growls defensively, but Hiccup calms him before any harm occurs. Astrid attempts to leave, but is intercepted by Hiccup and Toothless, who carry her to a mountaintop. There, Hiccup urges her to give Toothless a chance, demonstrating that the dragon is not dangerous. Although hesitant, Astrid mounts Toothless. Initially, the dragon flies erratically, ignoring Hiccup's guidance. However, when Astrid apologizes, Toothless calms and glides smoothly through the clouds. Astrid admits that while she still believes dragons are dangerous, she recognizes that Toothless is different. Yet, she reminds Hiccup that the following day, he is expected to kill a dragon in front of the entire village. Hiccup suggests they try to convince the villagers against dragon killings, but Astrid argues that dragons have stolen food, destroyed homes, and taken lives. Hiccup quietly agrees, acknowledging that dragons were responsible for his mother's death, but insists the cycle of violence cannot continue indefinitely. The next morning, Hiccup and Astrid notice a massive swarm of dragons flying in unison, drawn toward the same destination. Toothless instinctively follows, guiding them to the dragon nest, a fiery, cavernous chasm. From their vantage point, they watch dragons dropping stolen livestock into the abyss. Suddenly, a colossal, red, monstrous dragon emerges, towering over the others. It devours one of the smaller dragons as punishment, revealing its dominance. Hiccup and Astrid realize the dragons steal livestock only because they are compelled to serve their queen. Astrid insists they must inform Stoic immediately, but Hiccup cautions her. If the queen learns the village knows her location, Toothless's life would be at risk. The long-awaited village tradition finally arrives, and Hiccup is filled with anxiety, torn between following through and preserving Toothless's life. Astrid joins him, but Hiccup warns her to stay uninvolved, fearing failure could undermine her father's respect. Stepping into the arena, Hiccup faces the crowd's roaring chants. Armed with only a shield and a small knife, he waits as the massive Night Fury is released. The dragon hesitates but slowly approaches Hiccup. Dropping his weapons, Hiccup speaks gently, attempting to soothe it. Stoic, shocked, orders Gobber to stop the fight. The unexpected interference startles the dragon, sending it into a frenzy. At that moment, Toothless hears the commotion and races to the arena. Astrid Roos heads in to support Hiccup, despite Stoic's orders to stay back. Just as the dragon prepares to strike, Toothless swoops in, rescuing Hiccup. Panicked villagers rush the arena, attempting to attack the Night Fury, to Hiccup's dismay. Stoic confronts Toothless directly, leading to a clash, but Toothless gains the upper hand. Hiccup pleads for him to stop and Toothless complies, allowing the Vikings to capture him. Hiccup argues with his father, explaining that dragons are only defending themselves. Stoic reminds him that dragons caused his mother's death and killed hundreds of Vikings. Hiccup counters, noting that humans have killed thousands of dragons and that they are not inherently evil. In the heat of the argument, Hiccup reveals the existence of a dragon queen and her hidden nest. Stoic, stunned, asks if Hiccup has witnessed it firsthand. Reluctantly, Hiccup admits he has, aided by Toothless. Stoic immediately orders the Vikings to prepare their ships. Toothless is forcibly taken along, bound against his will. Meanwhile, Astrid finds Hiccup, who is overcome with guilt. He confesses that revealing the Queen's nest may have endangered Toothless and questions whether he should have killed him in the woods when he had the chance. Astrid simply asks then, "Why didn't you?" Hiccup finally admits that Toothless had looked just as scared as he was. Stoic and the Viking fleet navigate toward the Queen, unaware of Hiccup's plan. Back in the village, Hiccup rallies the other teens, devising a daring scheme. They will ride the dragons they once trained, turning them against the invading fleet. As Stoic and the Vikings near the Queen's lair, the dragons flee. Suddenly the ground quakes and a deafening roar pierces the air. The Dragon Queen emerges. Stoic orders immediate retreat. The Queen unleashes a torrent of fire, incinerating the ships. Hiccup and the teens arrive on their dragons, with Astrid coordinating their efforts. She instructs Fishlegs and Snotlout to exploit the Queen's weaknesses, while the twins provoke her as much as possible. Hiccup and Astrid spot Toothless in chains. Astrid drops Hiccup onto the burning ship to free him. Meanwhile, Fishlegs realizes the Queen has no blind spots. Snotlout falls atop the Queen, attempting to disorient her. Amid the chaos, Hiccup and Toothless are knocked into the water. Toothless struggles, but Stoic dives in and frees him personally. Hiccup rushes to Toothless, but Stoic stops him. "I'm proud to call you my son," he declares. The twins rescue Snotlout while Astrid bravely distracts the Queen. When her dragon's tail gets caught, she leaps into the Queen's mouth to save it. Toothless swoops in just in time to rescue her. Hiccup and Toothless rise into the sky together. Using speed and precision, they lure the Queen into a dive. Toothless's tail fin catches fire, and Hiccup devises a plan. They dive directly into the Queen's mouth and release a powerful fireball. The explosion ignites the Queen from within, sending her crashing into the mountainside. Hiccup is knocked into the fiery pit, but Toothless immediately dives to save him. Silence falls. Stoic and the others gather around, fearing the worst. Slowly, Toothless spreads his wings, revealing Hiccup alive in his embrace. Stoic is overcome with relief and pride. A few days later, Hiccup awakens to find Toothless nearby. Hiccup discovers he has lost his left leg, but Toothless nudges him, providing reassurance. Upon opening the door, Hiccup witnesses dragons flying freely over the village, no longer confined. Stoic smiles, noting that the lost ships have been replaced by dragon allies. "Riding dragons," he remarks, "feels almost magical." Astrid appears, kissing Hiccup. Gobber surprises them with a new tail fin for Toothless, specially designed to synchronize with Hiccup's prosthetic leg, allowing them to soar together once more. With a renewed bond forged between Vikings and dragons, Hiccup and Toothless take to the skies, free and united.